Currently, we're in New Iberia, Louisiana. This is the St. Matthew Cemetery, and there's been a little bit of a controversy going on in relation to this cemetery where I'm currently located at right now. The controversy goes from the upkeep of the cemetery to mismanaged funds and even people being sold plots where there's bodies already in them. People having misplaced loved ones. They don't know where their wife's body is. It's been moved somewhere. Let's take a quick look here at the St. Matthew Cemetery. Back about 5 years ago, you had somebody coming into this cemetery where they were knocking stones over and damaging the graves of the people interred on this property, and the residents here in the area, they got together and did a cleanup and fixed all of the graves that were vandalized. However, in recent months, people have been complaining about this very cemetery because of the aforementioned things that I just spoke about. So within the last couple months, the complaints, they started getting louder and louder and louder. You had people coming over here to buy plots. You go to the plot, there's already somebody in there. You had somebody who was tasked with the responsibility of upkeeping the cemetery, and as you can clearly see, it's being upkept, but not the way that you want it to be kept. Now, you can see, obviously, somebody has just been here to mow not too long ago. But then you see this, you see overgrown weeds, these little trees right here. You see a lot of broken crypts. So somebody here is taking care of the cemetery. But as you can see, over in this section, it is quite overgrown. And people are, raising an alarm to find out what's going on over here. Pastor Donald Wright of the Star Pilgrim Baptist Church was made aware not too long ago that his church owned part of the cemetery. He did not know at the time that the church had any kind of ownership over this cemetery whatsoever. They would use the cemetery to bury some of the congregation members. So back in 1975, whoever owned this cemetery, they either sold it or they gifted it to somebody else who ran the church. You got bad record keeping being held here. Nobody's telling anybody. When people die, do people take over? And they're not made aware of what's going on at this very cemetery. The caretaker of this place, one Ronald Bozeman, he's the one that's tasked with the responsibility of making sure this place doesn't look like this, that it's not overgrown, that it's not hazardous, that you're able to walk within the cemetery without tripping and falling over yourself. So he gets sick and he's no longer able to do his job. So you had a news reporter coming out here talking about the conditions of the cemetery, and you're talking about the other things that I said before about basically the mismanagement of funds. Is somebody stealing money here? Somebody's taking money for new burials, and when they get to the site, there's already somebody there. Now, Ronald Bozeman did contact the news department because he wanted to clear his name. He's basically telling them, I wasn't responsible for taking any of the funds from the new burials and managing any of the cemetery's records. I was only tasked with the responsibility of taking care of such and such part of the cemetery from over by the chain link fence up to those tracks right over there. After the railroad tracks, that's no longer his responsibility. However, somebody here is taking money from the new burials, and they're not allocating the money back into the upkeep of the cemetery. I'm not accusing anybody of stealing, but what I am saying is people are, pointing the finger of blame at other people for not doing their jobs properly. So Ronald Bozeman did interview with the local news affiliate here in New Iberia. I want to read a quote that he said. Quote, "There's a misconception that once they put their people there, that I was their indentured servant," unquote. And he also said that any funds that were brought into the cemetery were used for the upkeep, but sometimes there was no money. And he said that sometimes he would even have to use his own money, and that he would have to get his family members to come over here to help him take care of this very cemetery. Now, if you're trying to gain any kind of sympathy from the public on your case, and that you're saying that you're a good person, I don't think that quote is going to induce anybody to feel sorry for you and your job here keeping up this cemetery. "You were one of my babies and I will miss you deeply. Love, Aunt Trish." Looks like got some damage in here, and who knows how long this person has been dead, and who knows if the family even knows about them having basically an exposed hole in their crypt. That's why it's always important to have people, even if you don't know this person, to come over here and do some kind or another of a repair job. Trying to be careful here. I don't want to step on any snakes or frogs, and definitely don't want to get bit by one either. Octave David Washington, 2 years of age, 1 month before he was going to be 3, and his 7-year-old brother, Kevin Michael Washington, they both died in a vehicular accident. So the question remains, what's going to be done about this? Who's going to pay for the cleanup of this cemetery? If you got a small crew of landscapers to come over here and clear this out, it would only take them probably, if 2 days. You get a crew of 5 or 6 and they can knock this right out. Well, however, the problem remains is who's going to pay for this place to be cleaned up? People got to be paid, unless you find some volunteers to come over here and just take care of this place. This appears to be a job for somebody who maybe needs to do a bit of community service, or maybe a school project. I think that would be really, really awesome to get this place cleaned up. I guess we'll see. I'll put this place in my folder on places to come back and kind of just see what it looks like maybe a year or two later. Something's got to be done, right? Okay, guys, I'm hitting the road. I am out of here. I'll catch up with you on the next video. Peace out.